Welcome to another edition of All Octaves with me, Val Kleinhans. Thank you so much for joining me on this music-filled podcast where we talk to the musicians who make the music we love and the fans who love it as well. Today, Next Door to Heaven is in the building. Daria specifically is here with us.
Hi.
Hello. We are so happy to get this
Hello.
started. Next Door to Heaven is a progressive, just alternative like metalcore band based in LA. Daria, thank you for being here.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
So tell me, how did you all meet each other to begin with? How did the band take shape?
Oh, it's actually a very complicated story in our case because we formed in St. Petersburg back in Russia in 2014. We started mostly, I would say, as a post-grunge alternative rock band. But then soon after, in 2016, we decided to completely change what we are playing because we were really thinking like probably it's not really our genre because we wanted it to be something more complicated, something more unusual. We wanted to use two different types of music and mix it. So yeah, then we decided to do that, and we had other team members back then, but a lot has changed in our lives. We released a successful album that was called Five Ways to Accept. We got our first label back then, and we decided to move on with our career. So we moved to LA. And then we found two new band members here. So this is how it goes.
No, that's awesome. What was that transition from Russia to LA like? That's a lot.
Well, it was, I would say, easy and hard at the same time because there are just two of us here. Me and Jean, the composer and founder of the band, also my husband at the same time. We don't have like family members here, so in this specific condition that was pretty hard, I would say.
Yeah.
But in terms of anything else, surprisingly, American culture, I would say, has a lot in common with Russian culture. You'll be surprised.
Oh,
So,
wow. Like
yeah,
what types of
yeah,
things? I'm so
yeah,
curious.
yeah, you will be surprised. People are a lot alike. For example, European people, I've been to Europe many, many times, and I've toured in Europe as well as Jean. And I would say that European people are more strict, you know,
Okay.
uh, more not open-minded. I don't want to offend anyone, but
Right. Like more
uh,
reserved, maybe. Maybe they keep to themselves a little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah, I would say so. And Americans and Russians are not like that at all. So that thing was probably the easiest. Yeah. So
Cool. Well, totally not how that's totally not how they paint Russians in the media and in movies here in the US, like at all. They paint Russians as these like super stoic, like icy cold, like reserved, big, like Slavic people, like, and I'm
well,
and it's totally not the case.
at the same time, you should remember we are from St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg is like LA for Russia. So it's
Oh,
the,
okay.
the city where you can find most musicians, most artists, writers, and anyone like that.
Okay, so with when you have more creatives in a town like that, it is a little bit more open. It's a little bit more
Yeah,
free flowing. Got it.
maybe that is why
Okay.
the transition was not so hard. Yeah.
So what they show in like TV and movies is maybe like the Moscow version, not St. Petersburg.
Moscow, I wouldn't say that Moscovites are also like very strict. It's
Mm.
probably anyone except for St. Petersburg or Moscow. I would say anyone
Okay.
else.
Outside the bigger cities. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand. Well, something that I like
Yeah.
to ask musicians anytime I chat with them is what is their like choice for a desert island album? The album that you would take with you to listen to constantly, and it's the only thing you're taking to this desert island. What would that be?
Wow.
Loaded,
It
I
would be
know.
hard hard for a melomaniac to choose one album, seriously. I'm trying to remember anything that comes to my mind first. I know that for Gene, it will probably be any Creed's album, maybe
Mm.
one of the first of their albums.
Hmm.
And for me, it's really harder. Yeah,
It is tough.
I
I
don't
think
know,
for
because
me, it might be somebody like Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction or Aerosmith's Rocks or just Typo Negative Bloody Kisses, something like that. That would those three. Because
maybe you know what? After a second thought, I think it should be and Berlin,
oh, Amberlynn,
one
yeah.
of their yeah, one of their first albums, I would say too. Yeah.
That's awesome. Good choice. Your lyrics are pretty damn empowering too. I was taking a listen. Why is it that you choose to focus on writing songs that offer strength instead of ones that might be easier to write or maybe are like more neutral in a sense, not a lot of substance to it? You choose to have a little more depth. What's going on with that?
Well, first of all, I've been writing lyrics and any different types of texts since I was like 7,
Okay.
as well as I started singing when I was 7. So I'm doing that for many, many years. And after so many years, it's really hard to just write something about, love you, fuck you,
Yeah, I got it, got it.
that
It's
type of
simple.
lyrics. Yeah. You want to say something more deep. You want to also think about your own thoughts, about everything that's going on around you. You want people to see, to hear what you think, and maybe it will be easier for them to look more deeply inside of
Mm.
their hearts and mindsets. Yeah.
Hmm. That it works because I definitely hear it. And we talked about this a little bit, but you are an international band. How do you make that work with everybody scattered everywhere? Is it easy to work remotely or do you come together a lot? How does that work?
Well, our two band members are here in LA.
Mhm.
They're both Americans. So yeah, I would say the hardest part was to find a drummer in the very beginning, but
Mhm.
surprisingly, we found the drummer pretty fast. I think we started in June and we found that band member in August and we still play with that guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I think that actually went pretty well in comparison to our expectations.
Yeah, yeah, because well, you
Uh,
never know. You never know who's available. You never know what somebody's skill level is. You never know how well they're going to mesh with
uh,
you and the rest of it.
yeah. For us, number one thing is normally that point of view and that issue with the level. Because
Okay.
for us, when you play prog, it's mostly really complicated.
Yeah.
You change sizes, everything all the time, and especially when it comes to drummers and bassists, it should be really complicated. You should have a lot of skills to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
you cannot just pick a random guy in the crowd like, okay, you've been playing a bass guitar for 3 days, you go with us.
you
No.
gotta fit the sound, gotta fit the goal. Was that always the goal of Next Door to Heaven was to have a progressive and a little bit like metalcore sound? Was that your intention from the beginning, or have things changed along the way?
Things changed along the way, yeah. And I would say I'm not really sure if it will be like that all the time. I would
Mm,
say metalcore in general suits us best because metalcore is pretty wide type of genre, so you can fit a lot of things into metalcore. And when you just pick other things like, let's say, from prog, from alternative metal, and you mix that well, and yeah, let's say today I want to mix it with prog. Tomorrow I might
mhm,
want to mix it with hardcore. Sometimes we even mix it with deathcore, by the way.
mm.
We have a song that is called Out of the Fire. I would say it has a lot of deathcore influence.
Yeah. I love that sound too. I like to mix it up as well. But normally I tend to go a little bit more proggy though. Something like Opeth, something like Mastodon, something like Enslaved, something like Gojira, just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Dream Theater. Like I went to Dream Theater, Devin Townsend, and Animals as Leaders this summer too, and it was an amazing show. Loved it so much. But no, I appreciate all the sounds, and I appreciate that that was just a conglomeration of all of it. Speaking of bands and speaking of icons in metal, talk to me about playing with Kings of Thrash. That had to be exciting with some ex Megadeth members.
Yeah, that's really exciting. We're looking forward to this concert, and also it will be at the Whiskey. We actually love playing at the Whiskey because you know, it's a historical spot, and
Yes.
also there are a lot of interesting bands playing out there, and also sometimes you can meet very unexpected guests out there. So we've met them before, and I'm hoping we will in the future too. Like sometimes you just, let's say, have a gig out there, and uh here you meet a band member of a famous band. I won't name a band for now, but he's just there in the crowd, but you
Just
were not
watching.
expecting this person to come. Yeah, yeah, like that.
Right.
So
Because we
it's
don't
all
picture
about
them
the
as
Whiskey.
human. Yeah, we don't picture them as
Yeah,
human or as somebody that might be like a fan themselves and just want to enjoy the music and enjoy the show.
yeah, yeah. And you just see that person like here. And after the show, this person is like, hey, a great job. You did such a great job. You're like, oh, wow, that person actually talks to other people.
You-
A surprise.
Yes, that would surprise me too. So I loved your cover of the Foo Fighters Run as well. That is out now. What made you choose that song to cover?
We've been discussing it for a while with the band members. We wanted to create a cover song, but we were thinking, what what will be like one of the most Californian songs or Californian
Mm,
bands out there? And we thought that Foo Fighters is one of those bands that is so popular in California, and it like shows the vibe of this place a lot. And also, when we were picking up the song, I mostly did that, I will say, because as a lyricist, I normally look into lyrics a lot.
yeah.
And to me, it was very important because this is the moment when everybody thinks of life and death.
Hmm.
And Run, I think it actually talks about all of that. And that's very important that it also has this, you know, motivation in this song.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's like,
To,
what
to
are you gonna
me,
do?
that's important.
Right.
Yeah.
It asks you, are you going to embrace what's happening now or run from it, essentially?
Yeah, are you gonna give up or are you gonna actually fight? Yeah.
Hmm. And you guys are fighters. I love that about you. So, uh, and to be honest, like Foo Fighters, really not just California, like they're an American classic.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
really, they,
they're American heroes, yeah, but I mean especially for California. Like
yeah,
I cannot imagine this place without Foo Fighters, definitely.
yeah. Or that would be like California without the Chili Peppers or something. Like you just don't see it.
Yeah, yeah, it's like one of maybe three main bands in California, to be honest. And when we decided to make this cover, we wanted to make something special. We didn't want to just, you know, create a cover like for the sake of
Okay.
it, like absolutely similar. We wanted to create something special to change it a little bit to our tasting and to our personalities also.
Yeah. Make it your own. That's the goal, I think, with anything. Do you prefer covers or original songs?
It's actually our first serious cover during all these years. So normally we perform originals, and we are working on our new songs a lot right now. So yeah, the preference is obviously originals.
Yeah, because you know those best and they're from your brain and you know how they're supposed to sound. Are there potential covers in the future? Maybe now that you've done one, you got your feet wet, would you maybe do more?
I don't know. We never thought about that. Right now, we're really busy with our own tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's coming together? What's coming together in the future? Your own another album, some newer singles. What's happening?
Yeah. to be honest, we have both an album and even two singles at the same time in progress. So it will be really soon. We are going to have 8 tracks on the album and two singles separately. So altogether 10 songs.
Yeah. How are you feeling in general just about the metal scene? Because I have a thirst for like newer acts, and I look for bands like yours just to see like what's new, what's up and coming, because I feel like a lot of the times we get the same bands that are the legacy bands. I'm talking about your Foo Fighters or your Metallicas or your Panteras or bands like that. They're just regurgitated, and it's like I love them, don't get me wrong, but we're repeating what they've done from the last 30 and 40 years.
Absolutely.
There's not enough encouragement for what's new out there. Are
Yeah,
you
absolutely
so
agree.
you agree? Okay.
Yeah,
You totally agree.
absolutely. Yeah, totally. Because here, especially in LA, I would say a lot of bands they have this problem. Yeah, they want to play like Foo Fighters. They want to play like Guns N' Roses, of course. Nothing is
Hmm.
wrong with that. It's just it is a little bit weird. There are too many bands like that. And like
Hmm.
literally, you come to any concert in LA, you will see 9 out of 10, or sometimes 10 out of 10 bands like that.
Mm.
And you really want to see and hear something new, something that will, cheer you up,
Yeah.
cause some interest inside of you. But you come and see everything that is the same. And yeah, that saddens me. But I've seen a lot of interesting bands coming from other parts of the United States. I would say mm, like Ohio,
Hmm.
Indianapolis, sometimes New York, um, obviously Tennessee, sometimes Texas. A
Hmm.
lot of interesting bands come from there. I don't know why. How is that connected with the state or location?
Maybe. I find that I have this longing for just something different, something that hasn't been done before, or just it just would be nice to see somebody up and coming encouraged a little bit more than that same regurgitation that we always see, that same repetition. So, what do you do to make sure that Next Door to Heaven is like fresh and original and uniquely you?
Oh, we constantly listen to new music. For
Mm,
example, let's say I open Apple Music and I turn on some playlists like with fresh music all around from all around the world.
mhm.
I don't just, pick, oh, let's say I know this band, let's try this band. Or sometimes I do that, but just in order for Apple Music to help me with randomizing to get like similar sound bands, but there will be new bands for me. So I will listen to all of that. And also, we listen to, I would say, almost all types of genres. And
Mhm.
that includes pop, rap, and anything else. So I think that influences a lot.
It helps. It helps to see what other people are doing across the genres. I like listening to everything too. I think you don't have as open a mind without that. Definitely feel that
Yeah.
way.
And you will feel stuck with your genre solely if you want to listen to
Mhm.
anything else.
Yeah. Well, outside of the metal world, who else is catching your ear? Who are you interested in right now?
Whoa. I would say from the very recent that I've been listening last week, I will say the band Floya. I
Hmm.
think they're from Germany.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look them up.
Yeah, check it out. They're more smooth, but I really love how they sound. I think they have a lot of also commercial potential.
Mm, okay. What do you think makes something commercial potential? Because I've heard that term before, but I think everybody has like their own definition as to what that means. What does that mean to you?
Well, when everything fits everything at the same spot in the same song, you have great music, or sometimes it's not necessarily great, but it's really easy to memorize, or it gets stuck in your head easily. Uh, Lyrics, it can be deep, great lyrics, or sometimes it can be something also easy to memorize, easy to sing along with, all this. Nice voice. I would say not just the voice that is similar with anyone else, but the
Mm-hmm.
voice that will differ from most.
Mm-hmm.
What's something, not necessarily, radically different, but sometimes it can be just a very tiny difference that will make it.
Got it.
And charisma, I would say. Nothing happens without it. If you don't have it, you can't buy it, you can't get it. Santa Claus will not give it to you during Christmas time. So, yeah.
I understand. What advice, just last question for you, advice would you offer anybody forming a band or learning an instrument for the first time? What would you say to them?
Make sure you're serious about it.
Mm,
It takes balls.
yeah.
Make sure, even if you're a girl, you have it. Make sure you're really serious about it. Make sure you're ready to go through thick and thin. uh you know that it will not happen in one day like that. You know that you will need to work, but if you do, if you really want it badly, don't stop. Don't let some people, saying weird things or bad things stop you, because sometimes those people are just, they have some issues in life. Sometimes they are sad,
Mm,
different reasons, but it doesn't really matter. If you're unstoppable, if you have your own aim, it doesn't really matter what they say, because there are I got a very good piece of advice from one musician, and I think that's really important. And he said, um, take only those advices that come from people that you either trust
mm-hmm,
or respect.
mm-hmm.
If you don't, if they say good things, just say, okay, that's nice, thank you so much. If they
Yeah.
say some bullshit, then okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's
Have a
sort of
nice
like,
day.
yeah, well, it's sort of like don't take an opinion or don't take advice from somebody that you don't even like. Because what
Yeah.
if you don't even like them as a
You
person,
don't
why are
even
you gonna
know.
want
Like, let's
yeah.
say it's a random person somewhere on Facebook or elsewhere, and you don't know anything about this person. That person doesn't even have a photo. And like,
It's always the
why
people without
why
the photo.
would yeah, like why would you be offended? Who is that?
You don't even have a photo. It's always the ones without the photo every time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, Daria, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate your time and your little nuggets of wisdom. Thank you for being here. We can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you so much.